A few weeks ago at a webinar, I heard a tip for writing effective email subject lines that literally blew my mind. It is so easy. I'm kind of mad at myself for not thinking of this before, but I'm not going to gatekeep it. We're going to talk about it in this episode of the Library Marketing Show. Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Hursh from superlibrarymarketing.com. You can head on over there. You can click on Contact Angela if you want to ask a question that I'll answer in a future episode, or you can nominate your library or another library for kudos for something that you or that library has done in marketing that you want to recognize. We're going to begin today's episode with kudos, which is going to the William H. Hannon Library at Loyola Marymount University. I'm going to put a link to this down below. There's an Instagram reel that they did where they compared or are kind of poking fun at AI and its ability to design things and contrasting that with their own designer named Sophie. I encourage you to not only watch the reel, but look at the comments. It's pretty great. It's a great way for the library to kind of position themselves as a thought expert in comparison and contrast with AI. I think was super smart. I want to give a little special shout out to John Jackson because he shared this on LinkedIn and that's where I saw it. And I know that he was probably the mastermind behind it. So great job, William H. Hannon Library. Okay, let's get into today's topic, which is how to write email subject lines that actually work, doing something called the text test. Basically, you ask yourself when you're writing a subject line, would this work as a text? See how simple that was? That's why my mind was blown. So here's why this method really works. One, people are usually skimming their email. I don't fully subscribe to the notion that people have very short attention spans because they read books and books are long, and they watch movies and movies are long, and they binge TV shows. But the fact is, when they're looking at their email, they are skimming. So this can be very helpful. More importantly, I like to think about what text messages are, which basically is they're very personal and direct. So if your subject line feels like a natural text, it's going to be more conversational and compelling and create more action in your readers. Putting this into practice is pretty easy. You're going to write your subject line. Then you're going to just think about, would you send it as a text to a friend? And if you did, would they understand what you were talking about immediately? And would they want to open it? This means a subject line that I often see from libraries, which is something like library newsletter December edition, is not what we want to be doing. It's not compelling, and you probably would not send that as a text. Instead, you might pick something from your newsletter that's compelling to tease it, and you might say, join us for a big author event coming up, or want to meet your favorite author next week, or win prizes in our winter reading program, something like that that would be more conversational and that you would send as a text. And one more little tip that kind of goes in line with this is to do as much as you can to personalize the subject line. So you're going to want to use names or local references in your subject line. If people are really familiar with somebody on the front desk of your library, or the author that you're bringing in, or a local celebrity who's doing a program at your library, use that in your subject line. So I hope that's helpful and it helps raise the effectiveness of your library emails. And I am curious, what is your favorite email subject line tip that you've ever heard? I want to know, and so would my viewers. So let me know down in the comments. That's it for today's episode of the Library Marketing Show. But my channel is full of other tips for library marketing. If you're interested in learning more, head over to this next video and I will meet you there.